2-minute warning, everybody. 2-minute warning. Come grab your seats. We're about to get started. Lots of seats up front. Come on down. You guys got drinks now. Come on down. Renee, you're on the seat. Sit over here because you're on first. Three-round running. Grab your seats. We're about to start. Grab your seats. We're about to start.
All you folks in the back, up to the front, please.
Come on up, everybody. Where are we at now? This is second? Yeah.
Oh, he's fading it down.
This is the last one? One more. So yeah, one more time. No, keep going, keep going. It's like the And we're live! Welcome to Startup TNT, Agtech Investment Summit Finale Night, coming to you live from Regina. I'm Jesse, the lead for Saskatchewan.
And I'm Hassan, the Regina Area Ambassador for Startup TNT.
And we are the co-leads for the inaugural Agtech Investment Summit. And we're very excited to be here.
That's right, it's Thursday night, and you're all in for a treat. Not only is it the inaugural Agtech finale, but we also are simultaneously running two other summit finales tonight in Calgary and Edmonton. In Calgary, we got the API Life Sciences Summit, the second time, and in Edmonton, we got the third annual Clean Tech Summit, sponsored by Foresight. So if you're joining us online and you're expecting to see clean tech or life sciences, you're not going to see that here tonight. You've joined the wrong stream, unfortunately. But you're welcome to stay, because tonight it's all about Agtech here. It's all about us talking about startups from across the prairies that are developing companies that are increasing the food security, making food production more efficient, and helping those people that are producing the food.
Absolutely, and we're very excited to be here for our first finale ever in Regina. Give it up for that. Yeah, first finale ever in Regina. Woo! Very exciting. Just grab my slides up on the screen there. And but we're also here on treaty territory, and that's one thing that we got to make sure we remember here tonight, is that tonight we honor those elders whose stories this land carries. We acknowledge the land. We acknowledge that this land was a traditional meeting ground, gathering place, and traveling route for many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit.
We acknowledge that this land across the prairies was the traditional meeting ground, gathering place, and traveling route of the Anishinaabe, Cree, Oji-Cree, and Dene peoples. We acknowledge the nations of the Saulteaux, Blackfoot, Dakota, Lakota, Nakota, Sioux, the Siksikaane, the Piikani, and the Kiani, the Sutnia, and the national homeland of the Red River Métis. We aim to create a safe space for all Indigenous communities at TNT. Tonight, we honor their mission to gather and the community and share our stories.
Absolutely. And storytelling has been a part of this land for generations. And we're excited tonight because we've got a lot of stories to weave into the great tapestry that is the story of this land. In fact, Hassan and I have been a part of the story of this land for some time now. I was born here in Saskatchewan to a farmer and grew up on a farm just outside Saskatoon.
And although I immigrated here at the age of 4, I grew up on this land, and this is where my wife and I have chosen to raise our kids.
Yeah, and one of the things I'm really excited about tonight, being here with the Agtech Summit, is there's a thread that goes all the way back to the beginning of Agtech, not just in this province, but agriculture as a whole, right? From the very beginning of agriculture to the first innovations in ag technology, right, to the Industrial Revolution and the beginning of mechanized mass acre farming. And then we started to get into, here in Canada, software technology and computers, right? Like Saskatchewan's own Settler Computer Technologies in 1979.
Yeah, that's right. And that's now FCC's Ag Expert, which incidentally was started by Jesse's father, Doyle, who's watching us online.
Yeah, it's very exciting for me as the son of an Agtech founder to be here on stage, and this thread continues all the way through all that to this very moment here tonight, where we're celebrating the inaugural Agtech Investment Summit with Startup TNT, the first summit finale in Regina, and a city that has now become a global hub of agricultural innovation. How exciting is that? Let's give it up for that. Global hub of agriculture innovation here in Regina. Absolutely.
Yeah, and we at Startup TNT are so excited to have all of you here with us to celebrate this event.
Absolutely. So what are we doing tonight? There we go. We're obviously kicking off introductions. That's what we're doing right now. And then we're going to get to the best part, the pitches. We're going to spend an hour or so doing those pitches. Then the investors are going to head into that room right back there, and they're going to make a final decision. And while that's happening, you're going to have some time to network and hang out. But we also got a really awesome panel coming up talking about building a global ag tech hub here in Regina. And then live on stage around 8 o'clock, shortly thereafter, we're going to announce a winner of at least $150,000 of investment on terms we've already negotiated live on this stage. It's like Dragon's Den, but we're actually doing the investments. It's super exciting, right? And then we're going to party. It's going to be a great night. I'm super pumped, right? And so when people ask about Startup TNT and what is Startup TNT, I know it's hard to see on the screen, but the most important thing is we raise capital, right? Over $9 million of capital raised. But also important to know is that the TNT in Startup TNT stands for Thursday Night Tradition, right? Every Thursday we hang out and we have a happy hour, just like this. Sometimes it's a little more quiet, but other times it's huge, it's big, and there's a huge celebration. And it's that community coming together every week that builds an innovation ecosystem. And it's all those stories and all these great companies that we have on here from a variety of different sectors that have come out of that happy hour.
That's right, Jesse, and that's what excites me the most. It's those happy hours that result in new job opportunities, new partnerships, the new ideas on companies that get passed around. So all that is super exciting.
Yeah, we love it, and that's why we keep doing it every week, and that's why I came and launched Startup TNT here in Saskatchewan. So how do we do it here at Startup TNT? Obviously, we're a nonprofit, if nobody knew that, right? But we need a lot of support to make it happen. And again, I know it's hard to see. I hope the sun just starts setting.
Yeah, that's right. We cannot do this by ourselves. We want to have a huge thank out to our organizing partners and our summit sponsors. So organizing partners, can't see it on the slide, we've got Tallgrass, Thrive, Cultivator, who had the huge Agtech cohort last night, Creative Destruction Labs, Renewal Funds. Jesse, other ones there?
Yeah, we got the 51 are raising an egg fund right now. Our friends up in Saskatoon at Collabs. And of course, we've got our best friends forever there, don't we?
That's right. We can't forget about those, FCC and CBRE.
Yeah, and we're very thankful to have them supporting us as our best friends forever. What a better way to celebrate tonight than with your best friends. In fact, we've got even more friends and more partners that work with us to make this happen. AgWest Bio, Boast, Accelerate Fund, and Good Lawyer, we're all best friends here on this summit with us. Bunch of community supporters, Foresight, Olds College, Deal Closer. But most importantly of all, I want to highlight those core funding partners. They're an anchor for us in terms of our foundation, I should say. Anchors drags you down. Foundation builds you up. And that's what they do for us, is they build us up. And they help us operate here. We got Innovation Saskatchewan and Prairie's Economic Development, also known as Prairie's Can. And I'm very excited tonight to have Avery Vold, Vice President from Innovation Saskatchewan, come on stage to join us for a few minutes. You just want to grab Renee's mic there real quick. And yeah, why don't you come up here? How you doing tonight?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Yeah, it's been a very exciting Agtech week, hasn't it?
Very exciting and very busy Agtech week.
Yes, all culminating here tonight with this awesome investment summit finale. So tell us why Innovation Saskatchewan is so passionate about Agtech and what we're doing here at the finale tonight.
Well, Innovation Saskatchewan over the past couple of years have kind of had a really strategic focus on Agtech, really wanting to capitalize on the Saskatchewan advantage. Obviously, a big history of agriculture within the province, and also a lot of incredible partners and industry members that are doing a lot of great work here. So through that, we made a $15 million investment in Emertech, the Agtech Venture Capital Fund.
Over there.
Shout out to Sean. We also provided some funding to Cultivator's Agtech Accelerator program. Shout out to Jordan.
Right over there.
We're all here tonight. And we also launched our own Agtech Growth Fund, which is a research and development grant program. So if you want to learn more about IS and how we could maybe help some of these Agtech companies in the room, feel free to come talk to me. And there's lots of other, there's Brent back there, there's other staff members here. So really excited to be here, and yeah, excited about Agtech.
And thank you. And thank you for really giving that comprehensive overview. What makes you passionate about our work at Startup TNT, and especially in the angel investment world? Why is Innovation Saskatchewan supporting us as a nonprofit and our work around angel investment?
Well, Innovation Saskatchewan's mandate, part of it is to help grow the province's tech sector. And obviously, we're quite aligned then, because I would say Startup TNT, they've only been in Saskatchewan for just over a year, and they've already raised over $2 million for Saskatchewan startups. So that was 19 startups have benefited from that. And I mean, they're really helping develop our investor pool here in Saskatchewan and helping our startups grow. So, and I feel like you really do a great job at bringing the right partners together and bringing people, the right kind of people together in a fun way. So really excited about being partners with you.
Thank you. We're excited about it too. And one of the things that we really enjoy on the angel investment side is that tax credit that you guys
how did
give.
I miss
SDSI.
that? Yes.
We get a 45% tax credit here in Saskatchewan for
Yes.
investing in eligible companies, and it's awesome, isn't it? Right?
I cannot
you guys run out of money every year. That's how
Yes.
awesome it is.
Yeah, we do, and I can't believe I forgot to mention that. Yeah, but so if you want to learn
I got
more
your
about
back.
our,
We're partners.
I know exactly. So if you want to learn more about our tax credit program, again, please come chat with us.
Absolutely, and thank you so much to Avery and the whole Innovation Saskatchewan team. One of the other really important things to remember is most people know this area as Innovation Place, but now the whole thing is Innovation Saskatchewan. So right here, we're being hosted by Innovation Saskatchewan tonight, and want to thank you and your team for putting on this great show. A round of applause for Innovation Saskatchewan and for Avery. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Jesse.
Thanks so much, Avery.
All right, well, with that, I think we need to get into why we're here, right?
That's right. The sponsors and supporters are important, but so are the investors, and that gets into why we invest. So, Jesse, why are you investing?
Well, for me, it's about surrounding myself with really great people that are on a mission to change the world for the better. They're optimistic, they're driven, right? And you are who you surround yourself with. And when I first met Startup TNT and the community that they were forming out in Alberta, I knew I had to come here and form that here in Saskatchewan at the same time, because these are the types of people here in the room, and I hope you can spend some time tonight getting to know all of them, that you should surround yourself with. right? And you should also back them. Not just with money if you can do it. We'd love for you to join us as an investor if you're able. But if not, there's lots of other ways for you to get involved. You can help them with connections, right? You can help them find partnerships.
That's right. Connections, partnerships. That's
Mentorship,
all really important.
coaching.
Mentorships, coaching. That's all super important. It's not just about the money.
Yeah, and so that's why we want to make sure, that's why Startup TNT exists, is that we're trying to not just get dollars invested in the companies, but get the community invested into the companies, and that's why we do what we do, right? And so how does it work here at Startup TNT? Well, every investor tonight that's going to be making the decision and voting in that room, both in person and online, there's a number of people joining us online tonight, they've pre-committed $5,000. They gave us a $5,000 check before they even saw what companies they were going to be looking like. How crazy is that?
That is crazy. The first time I had to do it, I thought, this is nuts. But it's been fabulous. I mean, you're basically writing a blank check, but you're not really, because you're going to go through a whole due diligence process to evaluate all the companies involved. And you're not going to do it by yourself. You're going to have an entire group of other like-minded investors that are going to do it with you. So that makes the whole check writing process way more comfortable.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why we do this at Startup TNT, because we want to send a signal to this community when we pre-commit money that we know every single time we do it, there's going to be a great deal at the end of the day. Because we know there's great companies here that deserve to be funded, right? And that's why, like Jared said on the panel earlier, we're going to keep doing what we're doing because there's going to be great companies. There's always great companies, and they're going to get funded. And we're going to make that decision live on stage at 8 o'clock or shortly thereafter, because I think we're running a little behind. But what's going on tonight? Right? We got a epic night, as it says there on the screen. It says epic night if you can't see it. That's what it says.
Because of the sun, but it is an epic night. And I want to touch on a few of the metrics for tonight. You know, the slide, although you can't see the slide, it says we have 20 plus investors involved in this stream. And that's, if you include all the other 3 streams, we're looking at 90 plus investors involved in Startup TNT tonight. On top of that, we've got, we're covering 3 sectors across 5 cities tonight. We got over, in each sector, we're going to have 5 pitches. And we got over 100 tickets sold for tonight here in Regina. And if you look at all the 3 streams across the prairies, we got over 700 tickets sold.
Yeah, so there's just like 350 people in Calgary right now at the party. It's crazy. Right.
And then after that, it's 5 after parties in all the 5 major cities across the prairies.
Yeah, we're going to be having a good time tonight. The bar is open thanks to Startup TNT and our generous supporters. We're going to tell you a little bit more about who chipped into the bar tab and how you can too in a little bit. But who chipped into the investment? Well, this is the list right here of the people who put their money where their mouth is.
The public list.
The public list. Some people, like to keep it a little quiet. But there's a lot of people here on this list that made it out here tonight, that traveled all the way down. A number of them wearing those fun little TNT pins, so check them out if you want to chat with them. And but these are the people that put their money where their mouth is and say, hey, I want to support this community. I want to build up an innovation ecosystem in the prairies, and I'm going to do it by writing a $5,000 check.
And who are some of these people, Jesse?
Well, there are all kinds of people. They're entrepreneurs themselves. They've built and exited companies. These are successful professional business people with consulting practices. These are people who have decided an entirely different business. Maybe they're in the ag space, maybe they're not in the ag space, and they're like, hey, I want to invest in Agtech in this province.
And there's people just like us.
Yeah, just like us, just family offices or people working together, wanting to invest. And of course, me and you are a little bit different in the sense that you're a Top Gun out there. I don't know if people know this, but this man flies fighter jets.
So not exactly a Top Gun, but I have had the privilege of serving in the Canadian Air Force for the last 30 years and now fly as a reserve pilot in Moose Jaw.
Absolutely. Thank you for your service, Hassan. And of course, we got to talk about, and this is the last slide, I promise we're going to get right into it now. Who's pitching tonight? We got 5 companies pitching from a variety of sectors. How exciting is that?
Exactly, Jesse. This is like our most important slide for the night, aside from the pitches. This is the 5 reasons why we're here. These companies, although it's hard to see on the screen, we got a company dealing with worm tech. I've never thought I would hear about that, but worm tech, yes, you need to check that out. We got cattails, companies dealing with cattails and how to solve that issue. We got a company dealing with growing vegetables in seed containers. Who would have thought? A company dealing with AI, I mean, that's a hot market right now. And another company that's dealing with connecting all the items on your farm so you can know what's happening at all times.
Right, just such a diversity. We were talking about that on the panel earlier. There's so many different types of ag tech companies out there, and that is so well represented tonight. The other great thing that I'd love to represent it, all 4 regions where TNT operates, northern, southern Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, are represented on these 5 companies. This is a true Prairie Ag Tech Investment Summit finale. Let's give it up for these 5 companies that made it here tonight to the top 5. Very exciting. And so with that, let's get started on the pitches. Right? Let's get it going.
Let's get started.
All right, so let's bring down those slides and let's bring up our first co-host of the evening. We got our sponsors at FCC coming here, and Rene Benoit is generously graced us with his presence to come on stage and tell us a little bit more about FCC. But first off, how are you doing tonight? How are you feeling about this? You excited?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Yeah, it's fun to be here.
You got a chance to meet a few people. You getting a feel for the atmosphere.
Yeah, it's good. It's really invigorating. It's fun to meet all the people and see all the energy in the room from the companies and investors.
Absolutely. And FCC was a big supporter of this. You're a big supporter of ag tech. You're involved in a number of VC funds. That's the area you work with at FCC. What makes FCC passionate about ag tech venture capital?
So I guess to start off, I mean, ag tech, accelerators, incubators, and organizations such as this are really important. When I think about our VC or venture capital strategy and our mandate, supporting entrepreneurs throughout the business life cycle and getting involved in these types of events are really important. Yeah.
And just real quick, what other work do you do at FCC? There's a broad range of different things that you do there. Just give us the quick pitch.
Yeah.
Right?
No, FCC is a big organization. Obviously, you guys know we're a self-sustaining federal crown corporation, 100% focused on the ag industry. And so, we serve customers through financing, through knowledge, and through software. So 100,000 customers. We have tons of people across the country, 100 offices across rural Canada. But obviously, Regina here is our head office. What excites me about FCC and what we're doing is we've developed a venture capital program, and it's a really important and exciting part of our business. We support entrepreneurs through all the stages of the business life cycle, and we're currently doing that by investing in venture capital funds that have a focus in the ag space across Canada. So some are focused on ag tech, ag food, all the different spaces. But if you've got a focus on ag and you're a venture capital fund that's investing in entrepreneurs in Canada, we have an exciting program, and we've grown that to 15 funds and I think we have over 500 million in committed capital to funds across Canada. So super excited about investing in companies.
Give it up for that. Investing in companies. That's what we love to hear at Startup TNT. Right. So awesome. All right, we're kicking us off. Let's get us started. Before I do, real quick, there's going to be a Q&A. I'm just going to give quick logistics. Each time there's going to be a host and then a Q&A-er. Our first one's going to be Chris Nicolation. And then in between that, we're going to have the company pitch. So who is our first company?
So our first company is a pretty exciting company. Was doing a little bit of research, solving problems in sustainability and in agriculture, and doing some exciting things. His name is Michael Launer. The company's name is Annelida, and I was doing a little bit of undercover research this week, and I heard he told somebody that he's the largest employer in Canada. So here he is.
There you go. That's yours. Okay.
Which one's the one? Well, good evening, everyone. Thanks so much. I guess because Annelida starts with A, I'll lead everybody off, but this is a great opportunity. I'm Mike Launer, CEO with Annelida Organics, and I've got worms. But that's a good thing. Annelida is an innovative ag tech company that diverts food waste from landfill and puts that into our patented worm composting technology to create nature's best fertilizer. Our biostimulant products that we create gives the farmers the all-natural solutions they need to enhance their soil biology, plant yields, all while reducing conventional inputs. Chemical fertilizers are depleting and degrading our soils. Driven by global mandates, there's a need to adapt more sustainable aspects. Our goal is to provide farmers those solutions so that they can achieve their goals. Healthy soil biology is the answer. The green and sustainable aspect of what we're doing is really exciting. Every day we take a special formulated blend of green waste and put that into our proprietary system that utilizes 80 million worms, our workforce. So I guess that does make us Canada's largest employer. Simply put, for every pound of food that we feed these worms, they generate 3/4 of a pound of worm castings, worm poop, and that's nature's best plant food. These castings are the building block for all the organically certified products that we produce in a liquid, granulated, and blended forms. In essence, we're efficiently utilizing food waste to create products that aid in food production. We have several revenue streams that focus on agriculture and horticulture. We're currently distributing our products through strategic distributors throughout Canada and the US, and aim to expand that to a broad network of partners globally. We're currently working on programs to capture the revenue from the green waste diversion, as well as our data science unit, enabling us to develop further data analytics that will help drive sales and optimize soil nutrient and yield metrics. We have several state-of-the-art facilities. Our IP is replicable, scalable, and deployable in any municipality. In fact, we're just finalizing the details of an MOU to put a facility in Sacramento, California, where they've legislated a ban on green waste going to landfill. The nice thing about our worms is they double every 6 months. So that gives us the ability to scale up production and also acts as a barrier to market for anybody else looking to compete. We're currently the largest holder of red willier worms in Canada. We built an outstanding team with a significant skill set, including a strong board of advisors. Our agrology and agronomy team are working extensively with multiple growers and agricultural institutions to further advance our expertise and enhance our program's effectiveness on fighting soil degradation worldwide. We've conducted several independent trials, and the proof is in the pudding. It renders great results time and time again. You can clearly see the side-by-side trials with the conventional program, the wheat head on the right there, versus the reduced rate program, adding Annelida technology, and on average, we saw an increase of 20 to 25% yield increase. Annelida products produce results. Our agricultural sales grew 8 times last year, and the first quarter of this year, we're up 10 times from that. So we're seeing significant enhancement as we push to international markets and expand with major contracts. This is really just the beginning. We see the opportunity to put an Annelida facility in every region around the globe. Soil health is the future of regenerative agriculture, and Annelida is the proven solution. Thank you very much.
Good job, Michael. So Annelida is going to California. Tell me a little bit more about that deal.
Well, we were approached because of the mandates for them to divert food waste is a big part of it, but we're already shipping products by the truckload down there, and there's other types of worm products out there, but our key to market, our caramel secret, is we've got the ability to make a concentrated liquid, and that really is it's shelf life stable for 2.5 years. It integrates with conventional programs, and that's really the ticket. We have the right biology and its patented technology.
Yeah, I have 2 dogs myself. I see you got a pet spot repair product there. Where can I find that?
So we just executed, so we do have a retail division as well. We are an agricultural focused company, but we started off, our grassroots were some retail products and garden centers, etc. We actually just this week, we signed a deal to put, this is a pet spot repair that repairs dead grass, etc. That's going into Bone and Biscuit and PetSmart right across the country, and that's one of several products that we have. I brought a bunch of products here. I don't want to carry any of them home, so I want everybody to go up there, grab a bag, try it out, because seeing is believing. All you have to do is take some of the worm castings, top dress an existing houseplant, and you'll see results.
Great job, thanks.
Thanks so much.
All right, let's give it one more time to Mike and Annelida. Great job, Mike. And just before we start with the next introductions and pitch, I just want to remind everyone, remember the founders have spent a lot of time and energy on their pitches and preparation, so just please respect the noise level a little bit and try it. Up here on the stage, you can hear all the conversations in the back, so just respect the noise level a little bit. Thank you. All right, well, next we've got Sean O'Connor from Immertech, and he's going to be introducing our next company.
I think I'm good. Yeah, we're good.
Our next company, which is going to be OneCup AI, and the Q&A will be hosted by TNT investor David Sullivan. So, Sean, with Immertech, I understand it's been a pretty busy week for you guys.
Yeah, it's been super exciting week. We've got 10 companies from across Canada, 5 from the UK and 1 from Australia, all here in Regina as a part of Cultivators Agtech Accelerators. It's been neat to see just how quickly Saskatchewan has become an important global hub in the ag tech space, which is an exciting asset class from what we're looking at.
Yeah, it's amazing. And how about a little bit background into how Immertech came into this?
So our view was that we created our first venture capital fund, which was about leveling the playing field and investing in tech companies here in Saskatchewan. And when we started to see the success that our founders were having here, still to this date for 2019 funds, it's one of the top performing funds in North America. We thought, holy shit, what if we just lay in to what our strengths are, play into how the fact that we're already a leader in agriculture. And so we put together this fund, Immertech, and we're seeing a lot of new waves of capital and focus coming in. You guys are a big part of this as well. And if you think about even last year, so we had a big year of struggles in venture capital in Canada, regression in 2022 off of the backs of 2021. It was actually a record year in the history of Canada for capital being invested in ag tech with $226 million deployed in the country. We feel validated that Canada can become a leader in ag tech and that it belongs here in Saskatchewan as the driving engine behind it.
That's awesome. And one of the companies that you've put some of that money into is actually coming up next.
That's right, and I am super excited to introduce them. But I just want to pause because one piece that I would say, as I look around here and see what Startup TNT's accomplished over the last few events that I've been a part of, one thing that I'm particularly proud of, and this sounds a little bit it sounds a little bit unusual. I sat on the board of the Saskatchewan Capital Network when I first came out here. One of the decisions I'm really proud of is that we decided to end the Saskatchewan Capital Network. We knew that we needed a different approach, a different source of life for what we were trying to do in the angel space. To see that being taken over and to see the value that you guys are bringing to the table here, the community that you've been able to assemble, I think it really validates a lot of us who had that uncomfortable position of leaving the community without this type of community, knowing that there was better people who could carry it for us. So thank you for the work you guys have done. It's really exciting to see.
I really appreciate that and that insight and the background and history there, and I really appreciate the work you've done in order to make this happen.
Right on. Well, I'm excited to introduce our next company here. It's one of our newest investments out of our Immertech fund. And I'm not going to get into exactly what they do. Jeffrey's way better at this than I am. But the general premise that we looked at this was our belief is that if a human being can look at something and go, oh, that's that computer vision is going to be the future of whatever that outcome is. Again, I don't want to step on their toes. So there was that we understood that they had this big problem they were solving. We believe in the future of computer vision being able to replicate what a human being can identify. And then the founding team between Jeffrey and Mocha is a fantastic husband and wife team. Mocha really knowing the industry side of it and Jeffrey being an incredibly accomplished technologist, we were thrilled to jump in and start partnering with them. So I am excited to introduce OneCup AI as the next presenter.
Thanks. Hello, everyone. My name is Jeffrey, and I'm the CTO of OneCup AI, and we are happy to be here. And at OneCup, you can manage your herd over a cup of coffee. Watch this. There's a big problem in agriculture today. There is not enough humans to do all the work. There's a shortage of 60,000 people today, and that's going to double in the next 3 years. There's a real consequence of not having enough people. In the United States, they will lose almost 4 million animals to premature deaths, of which 2/3 are calves. It's going to cost them the better part of $4 billion. Take those numbers, divide them by 10, and you get Canada. While I'm up here, 5 calves will die prematurely in the next 4 minutes. It's a big problem. The solution is to use computer vision for animal care. Our artificial intelligence, Betsy, or bovine expert tracking and surveillance, is the eyes of the rancher when the rancher is away. She takes the intelligence of a rancher and marries it with cameras. And this, I apologize you can't see it, is what Betsy actually sees. She sees boxes and dots and uses technology like Face ID to track who animals are at the herd level. When you dive under the hood, if you can see here these orange circles on the left or the right, the big use cases for Betsy's skills are in the areas of calving, identifying when an animal is having a calf, in estrus detection, or in phenotypes. What the rancher sees is something like this, a beautiful screen where they can actually index to everywhere every animal is in every video and see what each animal is doing and tell you at the herd level and at the individual level what's going on with those animals using only cameras. There's no hardware. More importantly, Betsy's also proactive. Here we're seeing that Betsy can see that a calving event is occurring, a contraction, and she sends out a text message with a picture explaining what's going on and saying if you need to have a look at it right away. She can tell you when there is a fox in the hen house, for lack of a better word. We currently are at over 100 sites in Canada, and we've collected over 500,000 hours of video in our databases. We are processing today, if you can believe this, 9 million animals every 24 hours, 9 million animal images. That's over 100 per second, and for each one of those animals, we collect nearly 100 points of data. We're producing about 500 million points of data every single day. We bill our customers about $40 per month, or around $2,000 per year at a typical ranch. We think the TAM overall is around 20 billion, because there's 1 million ranches in North America, and that's an easy 2 billion right there in potential revenue. But note, there's also sheep, goats, and pigs, and many other species. Betsy just isn't for cattle. She actually works for everything that's got 4 legs, from alpacas to zebras. You can see here that she can see pandas, elephants, and rabbits. In the top right, she's doing dogs. I'm happy to share with you, next month, dogs alone will produce about $40K in revenue for the company if everything goes according to plan. But consider this. Wayne Gretzky once said that I like to skate where the puck is going to be, not where it has been. The same is true with technology. OneCup is at the intersection of 2 key trends. You've all heard about artificial intelligence and ChatGPT and how it's growing exponentially. Computer vision is doing the exact same thing. It is massively accelerating capabilities. You combine that with Starlink, which launches 5 satellites a day. Their new ships that they'll be launching starting in April will launch 401 launch. It will provide broadband to every corner of the world. There's a revolution happening right now in Agtech, and that is broadband that's like in the cities is now coming to the prairies. In closing, we are financed by 2 VCs, Tallgrass and Emertech. We're also in 2 incubators, Startup Cultivator and SVG Thrive. And in closing, I'm happy to share with you that NVIDIA called us a few days ago and invited us into the Accelerated Computing Solutions platform. What that means is that their OEMs like Dell and HP will be bundling OneCup on an international global scale to ranches all over the world and farms. I was on the phone with a country from the Middle East last week to light up 200 different dairy locations. With that, I invite you to join OneCup and come with our journey to bring computer vision to the world and make a difference to the over 7 billion animals that are under human care today. Thank you so much.
Good job, Jeff. Thank you. Coming from a cattle ranch, I can say checking for calves at 3 in the morning when it's minus 20 is the last thing you want to be doing. One thing you didn't get a chance to talk about was your team. Can you elaborate on your team?
Certainly. One of our founders is the chair of the Saskatchewan Cattlemen's Association. We also have half of our investors, by the way, are actually ranches. We have about 24 investors, half our ranches. The people that invested in OneCup are our customers. And likewise, we also have a board of advisors, 12 strong, that have domain expertise in everything from breeding to being veterinarians. And they've been helping us guide the creation and the abilities of Betsy.
What was the biggest challenge that you found when you started the company and got it this far?
The biggest challenge that we had was actually getting enough training data for our AI models. So we signed up beta sites all over the country to collect data to begin training Betsy. We've been at this now for 3 years, and we've collected a huge amount of data to train Betsy to see everything about cows, especially calving and animals that, for example, are in breech, lameness, you name it.
That's really exciting. Thank you. Great presentation.
Thank you for having me.
All right, let's give it up one more time for OneCup AI. That was amazing. And yeah, I just got to give a quick shout out to Sean. And with him especially, you know, at Startup TNT, we're standing on the shoulders of giants here, right? And I don't know if you saw how tall he was, but yeah. Thank you very much to Sean. Real quick, if you haven't gone, grab a drink at the bar. The bar is open. We've got some awesome beer supporters that have bought the tab. So TNT is an organization, we're a nonprofit. Obviously, we want to make sure we throw a great party. But a big reason why we've always been able to throw great parties is because of the donations to the tab. And so just on the Agtech side, we had a couple of big donators coming from the TNT Investors Center. Justin Scott, right over there, was our next Q&A, threw in $250. Dennis Mulaney threw in $50 into the tab. I'm going to throw in $50. Hassan, are you throwing in $50 to the bar tab? He's doing 100. He's doing 100. If anybody else wants to throw in for the tab, Chris Nicolaus back there is throwing in some money to the tab. If you want to throw some in, I'm going to do more shout-outs later on in the show. You can send it to cheers@startuptnt.com. That is our e-transfer link to direct deposits. That's how we keep throwing awesome parties like this. We are a nonprofit, and of course, we can't use money from the government for this type of stuff, so that's how we were able to do it. So thank you very much to all those supporters, and we've also got more happening on clean tech and the life sciences side. But let's get into the next pitch. And going from one AI company to another AI company, I might have done this on purpose. We got Boast AI coming out, represented by Curtis Griffith. How you doing, Curtis?
I'm great, Jesse. Thank you.
This is your first time here in Regina for the Agtech Summit finale. First time for all of us. What do you think so far, being here? You were here last night at the Accelerator event with Cultivator. What have you been learning here in Saskatchewan?
Yeah, it's just been great to be here. I'm a farm kid from southwestern Manitoba, so it feels a bit like home. Love the energy, love being a part of Agtech, so it's just been a real mix of two great things for me.
Yeah, and if people aren't familiar with Boast AI, what do you guys do there at Boast AI?
Yeah, we are a tech-enabled, full-service SRED provider and funder. So
what's SRED? I mean, I know what it is, but they don't.
That's right, SHRED tax credits, the Scientific Research and Experimental Development Tax Credit here in Canada. So the largest federal tax disbursement annually. So just over $4 billion every year comes from the federal government to innovative companies. And Boast was founded 10 years ago in Calgary. And the mission of Boast is really to support innovative companies to grow faster by supporting them financially through the SRED tax program.
Love that. Love getting that extra money. Makes my money go way further when I invested in a company. It's great. So with that, why don't we get into the next company? Who's up next?
Coming up next, someone who very honored, a fellow Manitoban, so serendipitous that I get to introduce this young man who's building a great business, and I had a chance to chat with him last night and get to meet him face to face. So Alec from Typha is coming up next.
Round of applause.
Thanks a lot, Curtis. Good, buddy. Thanks. Hi, my name is Alec Massé, and I'm the founder of Typha Co. Lake Winnipeg is the 10th largest freshwater lake on the planet, but it's also considered one of the most polluted. Agricultural runoff enters the lake and causes toxic algal blooms. One of the reasons for all this runoff is linked to increased flooding. The image on the right here depicts my beginning. My family and I almost lost our home to the flood of the century. Another flood of this magnitude could tip over the scale, and the lake's health might not be able to recover. Our solution is to capture agricultural runoff nutrients by harvesting cattails. We then upcycle these nutrients into horticulture products by transforming the biomass into biodegradable flower pots and gardening amendments. Our first product will be released this spring, and we will be cost competitive with available products in the prairies. The cost of goods sold for one bag of this garden amendment will be $9.60. Not only will we be cost competitive, we will also differentiate on the basis of providing ecosystem services and supplying beneficial nutrients. The cost of goods sold for a 4-inch flower pot is 4 cents. The growing media and flower pot market in Canada was valued at 680 and 236 million. Globally, there is a huge market gap for sustainable organic growing media. PMOS is a non-renewable resource that further accelerates climate change, and it's currently being banned across Europe, and there's a dwindling supply in Canada. Coca-Cola is a waste product or imported long distances overseas and performs poorly against Typha. We've partnered with Strategic Systems Engineering, which provide us harvesting logistics and monitoring services through Earth Daily's GIS mapping. SSE also builds constructed wetland for water retention and treatment, which can be trained in late fall, providing accessible biomass with standard machinery. In the short term, we're selling our gardening amendment, flower pots, and growing media, and potting mix. By the midterm, we're expanding to seed pods and eventually accessing broader B2B eco-packaging products, all of which can be further subsidized with water quality trading networks and carbon credits. Our distribution strategy is twofold. On the B2B end, 2 major Canadian wholesalers will be distributing our products across their combined 1,700 retail store locations. We will also sell directly to retail locations and commercial growers. As for the B2C, we will foster subscription as a service with 2 indoor growing systems and sell directly on our website. At this point in time, we've developed functional prototypes, validated proof of concepts, and fostered desired relationships with manufacturers and research bodies. Our multidisciplinary team is well equipped for the task, and our board of advisors will help us navigate critical decisions and avoid pitfalls. We anticipate a gross profit of $800,000 in our first year and $2 million in year 3. We are looking to raise $279,000, which will be invested in the above manner for almost 9% of our company. These funds will help us leverage an additional $500,000 from provincial and federal sources. We are also seeking connections in the Agtech and cleantech sectors to raise educational awareness and manage relationships with multinational corporations, as well as creating a harvester co-op network. Thank you.
Great pitch, Alec. So how about for questions, why don't you touch base on your sales strategy here and talk about your distribution channels here a little bit and how it's going to accommodate your growth trajectory.
Thank you for the question, Justin. So our focus is on implementing a market pull strategy. The main objective of our venture is to essentially become a global producer of cattail gardening amendments and soil growing media. We were essentially trying to make a margin on large volumes. There's an enormous market gap, as I mentioned, for sustainable growing media globally. And we're currently working on expanding our distribution channel. In fact, apart from the 2 wholesalers that's been mentioned, we're also working with 2 companies. One is based in Oregon, which is developing a potting mix, which will be sold to their 5,000 Targets and Walmarts across the US. We're also working with a PMOS company, and the idea there is to substitute a partial amount of their products across their many SKUs that are distributed globally. But in conjunction to those 2 wholesalers and major companies, we've also recently this week landed a few potential clients. One is one of the largest producers of biodegradable flower pots globally, and that is GFP. The second is Kakila, a European growing media substrate supplier that supplies growing medias across 100 countries. There's also Royal Gold, based in California, that supplies Coca-Cola products to North America, and they have interest in developing and co-developing a Typha Coca-Cola mix. We're also working with a company called QuickPlug, which supplies hydroponic supplies in the US. And lastly, a sustainable fertilizer and media company called Renewable, based in New York.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, let's give it up for Alex from Typha.
Oh, is it the clicker? Okay. Do you need the clicker for your slide?
I do, yeah.
Slideshow? There we go.
Awesome. Yeah. So let's keep the night going. Let's get the beer tabs going, and we got 2 more companies to go over. So I'd like to bring on stage Till Nair from Olds College. He's going to introduce the next company.
Thank you, Hussein.
So Till, you're from Olds College. So how about you give us a little bit of background on Olds and what's new there?
So everybody knows Olds College is a post-secondary institution. So that is only the one side of Olds College where we offer, certificates, degree, diploma programs. But on the other hand, we have been recognized as one of the first 10 research institutions in Canada on applied ag research side. So we have 3,600 acres of smart farm where we can physically test and validate the product and technology for the industry.
That's amazing. So the next company that's coming up, is that something that would interest Olds College?
So that is very interesting. As you know, we need to increase the food supply. We need to increase the food production. So we need to find the alternate ways of production. So the next company is more into the vertical farming and supporting that food supply chain. With that, I would like to welcome Shondell Shabak for further introduction to his company.
Welcome, everybody, and thanks for joining us tonight. My name is Shondell Sabad. I'm a co-founder for Prairie Vertical Farms, and I'm here with Chad Rawls, who is the other co-founder for the company. These are the niceties that you can read later on. So why vertical farming and why us? Really, this started with water. There was a recent article in the Washington Post that stated there never was enough water, and they were referencing the water levels in the Colorado River Basin. And what that's meant is, with the recent deadline that has passed in the US that was set by President Biden, he had set a deadline for water draws. It passed without any kind of, it passed without any kind of resolution. So what that's meant is it's increased the risk of water rationing, and it's increased the risk that lettuce exports into Canada will be cut off. We get about 95% of our lettuce from that part of the world. Secondly, it's important to note that we're farmers first. Chad and I both come from a long line of southern Saskatchewan, southern Manitoba farmers. Our ancestors came here over 100 years ago to farm, and they utilized new technology that was imported from other parts of the world to become successful farmers. We had 3 criteria before we even thought about opening up a farm. Number 1 was to produce at scale. We wanted to be able to supply a national grocer with fresh leafy greens. That would allow us to get an offtake agreement, which we were able to do. But in order to do that, we had to be price competitive with field growers in Southern California. The other thing that we did was we've always taken a measured approach to our business. And by doing that, what we wanted to do was examine why are farms failing and address those needs. So just briefly, power. Power is the greatest cost in an indoor vertical farm. We started with that problem and trying to solve it. Secondly, people. Training people, finding people, and that's where our friends at Olds College have been very helpful. We signed an MOU with them to develop people talent. And of course, thirdly, the farms have to be profitable. Currently, the market for leafy greens in Alberta is about 50,000 metric tons. Our farms will supply about 1,200 for each of our commercial scale farms. We could build 9 farms between now and 2030, and we would only be addressing the increase in the market. We would not be carving out any of the base demand. The retailers will tell you that they would like to see 50% local production by 2030. The competitive landscape, really, other than imports, there's 2. One is greenhouses. They tend not to play in our market simply because they make more money selling leafy greens. or pardon me, they make more money selling vegetables. And the second is our, there is some small indoor farms, but they tend to go direct to consumer. We're opening up a pilot farm in 2023. That'll make us profitable and cash flowing by the end of the year. We'll have 14 crop cycles of romaine leaves and 8 crop cycles of our leafy greens. I'm going to skip through this. Whoop. This really does highlight the relationship that we have with our tech provider, Arvest out of Montreal. What that allows us to do is focus on farming while they focus on the technology and the agronomy. This supercenter model is really the future of indoor vertical farming. You know, we obviously positive impact. We address 9 of the 17 UN sustainability goals with our facilities. And right now what we're doing is we're raising $1 million to open up our first pilot farm. Thank you.
All right. Give it up for Shondell, everybody. I have a few questions for you. Are you ready for these?
I am. Fire away.
All right. So how do you plan to scale your business?
Yeah, that's a great question. Thanks for that. So our model, each of our farms, we will be selling direct to the distributors. Mm-hmm. So our model is we're selling direct to the retailers. We can scale in a couple ways. Number one, we have an offtake agreement currently for 100% of our produce. What we can do is we can scale by more produce to the same retailer, okay, and also more that same produce to more retailers. And then we can rinse and repeat facilities in Calgary, Edmonton, Regina, Saskatoon, and Winnipeg.
Excellent. Okay, another question for you here. What makes your technology different or more advantageous than maybe some competitors or other emerging companies in the field?
Yeah, that's a great question. On one of the slides, we had indicated that microgreens are easy. Our tech provider went directly to the retailer and asked them what problem they have that needed solved. The retailer came back to them and said, we would love it if someone could produce romaine hearts. So our folks went out, partnered with McGill University, hired a bunch of PhD students, and about 2 years later, were able to produce a romaine heart inside a sea can.
Beautiful. Very interesting. And perhaps one more question for you. We got time? Okay. And how is what you do different than organic? This is something I've been curious about.
Yeah, and that's something we battle with in this industry, and it's something we're going to have to educate the consumer on. Organic uses organic pesticides. We don't use any pesticides. We don't use any herbicides. So our produce is cleaner and higher nutrient content because it's not using those pesticides and herbicides.
Excellent. Well, thanks very much for your pitch. Give it up for Sean.
Thank you.
All right, yeah, great second last pitch. Thank you very much, Shondell, for that. Look, we got quite the gamut of Agtech we've gone through already, and we got one more left, the hometown favorite, right, coming from right here outside Regina. But real quick, I just want to acknowledge the people in this room and how diverse and from different organizations we have here in this room. In fact, I was chatting to different people, and people are already talking about, hey, what can I do to support the Agtech companies here in this room? How can I help them, right? And we've got Marianne from Melanie, from Egg in Motion, who offered, if you're new to Egg in Motion, Canada's largest outdoor farm show, she's got discounts for you. You can go there and do a booth for a discount, right? So go talk to Melanie over at Egg in Motion during the break after these summit. And in fact, Annelida Organics reminded me, those products over there are free. You could just go grab one. You don't have to buy them. Just go over and grab one, right? And we've got all these vendors across the back of the room, right? So take a chance to check those out. We got people from all kinds of different organizations. Let's get this group networking together. And all the people that brought us together here our innovation place is thanks to this gentleman coming up next. We got Brent Monroe coming up from Innovation Saskatchewan. He runs the park here. Brent, what are you thinking about tonight? How excited are you? How awesome is this night?
Well, this has been a lot of hard work for a lot of people, but I think we can state resoundingly that it has been a great success.
Amen. Amen to that. And we haven't even done the investment part yet, right? So that's even going to make it more successful. So, Brent, we talked a little bit about what Innovation Saskatchewan does. Obviously, people knew your brand as Innovation Place. This is also known as a research park here. There's all kinds of stuff you guys do. What do you do? Well, tell us more about what you do here at the park.
Well, we're all about the relationships, and while we have a pretty nice building here when we're not fighting the sun, but really the value in what we offer is the community that's here, the partnerships, the entrepreneurial spirit, and really fostering growth for the Saskatchewan, Canadian, and the world economies.
Absolutely. And you guys got a couple really great spaces here. I heard there's a Collider space up there somewhere. Is that right?
Yeah, we have Collider, which is our kind of a co-working space. So, I mean, a startup can come in for just a couple of $100 a month to start with, and have all the benefits that come with being a partner in the park. And so we range from companies that have 1 and 2 employees to international billion-dollar companies with hundreds and hundreds of employees that are based right here in Saskatchewan.
Yeah, that's amazing, right? And that's so good also for the startups because they get to interact with those people, they get to learn from them, they get to grow. You guys actually were the place where Precision AI got started, a really great Agtech company here in Regina and Saskatchewan. So Innovation Place, you definitely check it out. If you want to learn more about it, chat to Brent. But without further ado, let's get in to the final pitch of the evening. As I said, the hometown favorite. Who is it? I don't know. We got Catlin Lang,
Sorry, you're catching me by surprise here.
Yeah.
Actually, what I will say is, like many in this room, I'm not from Saskatchewan. I grew up in a province well west of here, but have lived in Saskatchewan for over 30 years. I bleed Ryder Green. And
that's all that matters, really.
I firmly believe that this is not only the best province in Canada, but it's one of the best locations in the world. And the amazing work that's being done in Regina to foster tech, particularly ag tech, is just absolutely stunning.
Amen. And that's the result of that is this great company and this next great founder. We got Catlin Lang with FarmSimple, a cultivator company, involved with the Agtech Saturday, coming up next. Come on up, Catlin. Take us home. We got Alexandria Straight coming up for the Q&A after. Forgot about you.
Last year, during harvest, 10 of my cows died from severe dehydration. How could this happen? Well, I had to make the choice. Take 2 hours of my time to go check the cattle water supply or finish harvest that was critical to my family's income for the year. That's a true story from a FarmSimple customer. My name is Catlin Lang, and I'm here to tell you about the problems we're solving at FarmSimple. A livestock producer's most valuable resource is time. Water depletion or freezing is hazardous to the livestock. Fuel prices have never been higher, and shortages of labor have never been worse. The costs are growing every day. The average producer will spend $4,000 to check a single water supply in a summer. They can't forego these costs because the risk is much higher. FarmSimple has developed the Herd Hand, 24/7 monitoring of water levels, temperatures, and more. It's developed with the future in mind. When FarmSimple sells their product, we ship it directly to the customer. They set it up at their desired location, and the Herd Hand gets to work. If low water or temperature is detected, a text message alert goes straight to their phone. The customer takes action and they prevent loss from occurring. In North America, we have just under 1 million cattle farms, 1.3 million livestock farms, and 2.2 million total farms. At a modest 3% market penetration, we're talking about 87,000 active devices. This is 57 million in hardware sales and 870,000 in recurring monthly revenue. FarmSimple currently has 47 customers and over 80 devices deployed. We're in Saskatchewan, Alberta, BC, and Manitoba. We sell direct to customer, but we have a few small retailers on board. Although this technology has existed for over a decade in places like Australia, nobody has taken the time to understand the North American market, to develop a product that's suitable for our climate, and to solve the challenges for our producers. This is FarmSimple's competitive advantage. Up until this point, it's been myself carrying the load of FarmSimple. An investment today is going to help us grow the team, hiring key sales leaders and developers. Help us reach Operation 1,000 active devices by July 1st, 2024. At this time last year, we had 5 devices deployed. We're now at 80. That's a 15x in 1 year, and we want to do it again. FarmSimple is looking to raise money today, so if you'd like to add the rocket fuel we need to get started, please consider investing in us today. Thank you.
Hey folks, thank you so much, Catlin. So let's flip the script. Tell me what will happen if you do not get invested in today.
So if we don't get investment today, we're gonna continue on. We've bootstrapped to this point, and we'll still be creative to find ways to keep FarmSimple moving. Just some cash would help it go faster.
Okay, so then painting a sunnier picture, how can the incredibly influential people in this room rally behind you right now?
So we're looking for more than just an investor. We're looking for your business relations. We're looking for some coaching to help us build our strategy along the way.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Catlin. And thank you to folks here.
Thanks, Alexandria.
Give it up one more time for our Regina hometown startup, the only one from Saskatchewan to make the finale, Catlin Lang. And give it up one more time for all the startups that just pitched. We just saw all 5 of the top 5. Give them up for those.
That's amazing.
That was incredible. Right? And so I did the beer tab. I got to pull it up real quick again. We got more people that threw in beer tab. We threw in some money, right? And in fact, craziness, I was looking through the numbers, and Stephen Reese, who's just watching online right now, threw in $50 from Edmonton. He just chucked it in.
Steven.
He's like, hey, drink vicariously through me. I want you guys to have a good time tonight. And Zach Storms, one of the co-founders of TNT, threw in $250. $250. Zach Storms, if you haven't met him, you definitely should. He's going to be coming to town in Saskatoon on April 11th and 12th. More details coming soon. And Andrew McIsaac, who is the head of API, they're sponsoring our Life Sciences Summit, threw in $1,000 into the bar tab.
Oh.
Right? That's how we do it here at Startup TNT. Throwing money into the tab. I think Joe was pulling out his phone over there to throw some money in. Chris Nicolation's throwing in some money. This is amazing. We're going to have a good time because that's what's coming up next. We got investor deliberations happening in the back room, right? So we're going to go deliberate. And then while that's happening, we got plenty of time to hang out. There's going to be more food coming out right now. The lovely folks over there at Momentum Cafe are doing that. And then take a chance to go around to all the different booths, go to Annelida, grab one of their products. It's free. They're literally just giving it away. They want you to try it. And he swears by it. He was showing me pictures earlier of plants that got the product and how much better they ended up growing. So definitely give it a chance if you've got a lot of plants in your house. And then check out all our other vendors. And in about 20 minutes or so, Jordan McFarlane, head of Cultivator and the Agtech Accelerator Program, is going to come on up and do an awesome panel on building a global Agtech hub.
That's going to be an amazing discussion.
Okay, and then for the investors, we're going to head into boardroom B. The food's already in there. There's drinks in there. So just head straight into the room there. We're going to deliberate. We're going to come to a decision. And about an hour from now, we're going to announce live on stage the winner. So don't go anywhere.
and gentlemen, this is officially your 5-minute warning. We're going to get kicked off with the panel in 5 minutes. Please grab a drink, make your way to a comfy seat, and we'll get kicked off in 5 minutes. All right, folks, we got a 60-second warning. I just got the word we got a 60-second warning till the panel kicks off. right, folks, we're going to jump into our panel here. Big thank you to Startup TNT and the excellent venue here we've got at Innovation Place. A big thank you to the food and drink vendors tonight. Can we give a round of applause to the restaurant and the bar this evening, doing a great job? All right, I'm honored to be leading our panel tonight alongside a rock star team of panelists. So would like to give a warm welcome to Chris Lane, CEO of Economic Development Regina, who's here this evening. Yes, we can give a round of applause there. Jessica Day, Senior Marketing Manager of Precision AI. And last but not least, Crystal Kolegiak, Senior Director, Customer Strategy and Insights at FCC. Let's give these guests a round of applause here. And my name is Jordan McFarland. I'm the Incubator Manager at Cultivator. So we're here this evening to talk a little bit about building a global Agtech hub. So we've got a variety of perspectives here. We've got a city economic development perspective. We've got a large national corporate perspective. We've got a high growth, early stage Agtech company. And then we'll bring a little bit of an Agtech accelerator perspective as well. But what I thought I would do is just ask maybe each of the panelists to tell us a little bit more about yourself, your organization, maybe any notable background and sort of the perspective that you bring to the conversation today. So I'll maybe toss it to you, Chris.
Sure, thanks so much. Hi everyone, thanks for coming here tonight, and thanks Jordan for moderating this and Startup TNT for a great event. My name is Chris Lane and I am the CEO and President of Economic Development Regina, and we were just having a conversation at the pretzel table about what actually does an economic development organization do. If you have any answers, I would appreciate them. It's great. We do a lot of things, but in this space, especially in Agtech, especially in Regina, we are a sector developer. So our job is to remove the barriers for success in the business that you're all interested in and accelerate the things that make it easy. So that's everything from pathfinding, it's business advising, it's data analytics, it's connecting investment with companies that are looking for it, it's outbound trade missions in terms of getting overseas investment into this city to help the sector grow. And it's also about marketing and positioning this city as a natural home and a hub, playing on the strengths that are already here. We have a critical mass of world-leading ag, food, and tech companies here already, and we have to tell that story more, and we have to tell it better. That's a big part of what we do as well.
I love that. Thank you, Chris. I'll toss it over to Crystal.
Sure. Switch. Thanks. So Farm Credit Canada, I know you've heard a little bit about us tonight. So we're a federal crown corporation, and we're dedicated to the agriculture and food space. So anything from the commodity side through the agribusiness, agri-food, aquaculture, and here to really just support the industry through different options for financing as well as knowledge and tools.
Awesome. Thanks, Crystal. And last but not least, Jessica.
Hi. Mine's working. Good. Okay, so I work for Precision AI. We're creating autonomous farming solutions for crop protection. Most likely you know us from our precision spray drones, which we are using to reduce herbicide use on the farm. We are an alumni from the Cultivator program, and we also have offices in this innovation building. So we're very integrated into the Agtech innovation in Saskatchewan.
Yeah, we're proud to be along the way there for Precision AI, and if you haven't seen it, they're building some really cool stuff, so we're excited to dive into that tonight. First question I'll maybe tee up for you, Chris, and talking about the Prairie Advantage, you alluded to it a little bit, wondered if you could dive in more, but when we think about Regina, Saskatchewan, the region, when it comes to agriculture, and maybe even more specific to the growing area of Agtech, what do you feel like our advantages? We're attracting these global partnerships with groups like Innovate UK and other things. Just, curious what you think it is that attracts groups here.
Yeah, I think one of the most important things we have here in Saskatchewan is a sense of community and availability and connectivity. That is something, so there are other incubators, there's other accelerators out there in this industry and others, but really what sets Saskatchewan apart are the critical mass, as I mentioned, of players in every step along the value chain that you need to create a functioning ecosystem. And we're not really starting from nothing into something in Regina. We have all the somethings. We have the FCCs, we have the winning companies that have been through the startup and commercialization phase. We've got global ag and food processors, And if you haven't noticed, we're less than 3 miles away from some of the most productive farmland and sustainable farmland anywhere in the world. So not only do we have proximity to the space and the place where you need the technology to be working, but we have the proximity to the ideas, the companies, and the capital to make it all go. And it's all within a very condensed physical space, but also a very condensed ideological space here, in that we're all pulling for each other. There really is something about the village raising the children here in Agtech that happens in Saskatchewan that doesn't happen in other places. And I think the work that Jordan does, and the work that Emertech does, and the work that every company who sets up shop in Regina does really leans into that. And it gives us a competitive advantage because we've been to other places, Jordan, and we've seen this. And the sense of envy that other companies and other investment funds have when they see what is happening here in Saskatchewan and Regina is real. And I think often our Prairie humility doesn't allow us to celebrate that as loudly as it should, because the minute that we're somewhere where they don't have that and we start explaining it, or they start seeing it in the connections in the room, where we are becomes really attractive. So it's a privilege and it's an opportunity to be based here, and I think it's a really unique one that exists nowhere else in the world.
Yeah, I love that answer. Kind of reminds me of sort of how rider pride exists globally. You know, you'll go to Mexico and you see these rider jerseys, or you watch a major sporting event and you're like, how did a rider fan get in there? I think we see this Team Saskatchewan mentality. We were at World Agritech last week in San Francisco, and just the Saskatchewan presence, the people who are from there, this pride, this willingness to come back is really strong, and I think something that we're really proud of. I just realized really quickly I didn't say at all what Cultivator is and what our role is in Agtech, so I should probably explain that. We do run an Agtech accelerator. It's venture capital backed by Emertech. We support 10 Canadian companies a year. They receive a $100K investment from Emertech, and then we also support 5 UK companies, and this year 1 Australian company. In our first cohort, those companies went on to raise $30 million in private capital. So we've seen, you know, a lot of early success, and proud to be in the Agtech space. With that, when we think of an Agtech ecosystem, I think a key player is, you know, the corporates, but also the industry and the farmers. And so what I'd love to ask you, Crystal, is when we think about FCC and the connection to farmers and producers all across Canada and in various regions, you know, what are some of the behaviors and or learnings? What do we know about Canadian farmers that can help us, that can help the companies that are here, and can help us thinking about the future of Agtech?
Sure. So I think of this question from a number of different angles. So of course there's a huge opportunity for the industry right now. So over the next 30 years, we're expecting food consumption and needs to grow by 70%. So that's a huge opportunity, with Canada being the 5th largest exporter in the world for food and commodities. And yet there's some challenges that we have in the industry too. So right now, of course, interest rates and inflation are impacting all of our customers, but where Agtech can play a role are in things like labor shortages. So it's something that is impacting all the various sectors within the industry. So what are different ways that we can actually look at options for labor shortages, whether that's through automation, to make immigration easier for people to come and be part of the labor force here. And then as well, sustainability is something that's on a lot of producers' minds today, and what is that going to mean for them, and what does it mean in terms of being able to document and to be able to show it. So there's a lot of challenges that are happening that I think Agtech would be great solutions for, to be able to look at the problems that producers are trying to solve and coming up with innovative ways to be able to address those problems.
Yeah, I love that. And when I think of FCC too, I imagine just the importance of trust with the customers and with the farmers, and you know, I think that's something that these ag tech companies are trying to build as well. Any insights on that importance of trust and how prevalent that is when you think about farmers across Canada?
Yeah, it's definitely huge within financial services, absolutely.
Especially as of late, I imagine.
Especially as of late. So even just understanding the industry too is something that we take a lot of pride in, so that when we're working with customers, they're explaining less about why they need something because we understand their cash flow, we understand their sector. So trust is a big part of it. And then with different things coming at the industry, whether it is sustainability, traceability, any of the other areas that Agtech can help with, that's definitely a key thing. And of course, with all the data that the industry provides, it's being assured that our producers own their data and what they can do with that data as well.
That's excellent. Jessica, tossing it over to you, would love to chat a little bit. Precision AI, extremely successful company, especially at raising capital early on. A lot of companies here looking to raise capital. You're headquartered here in Regina, Saskatchewan. We talked about all the benefits here. One of the challenges that exists here is we do have a lot of that white stuff on the ground. It hasn't gone away as quickly as maybe we'd like, but how does Precision AI approach weather and seasonality, which is obviously a challenge in ag tech, both from selling, but also testing, and I know the challenges or opportunities that creates. So curious how PAI thinks about that.
Yeah, Agtech is different in that it's so seasonal. So like you said, we have one shot. It's a high penalty if we fail. It can be very expensive. There's so many benefits to being in Saskatchewan. We have, for us specifically, because we're doing a lot of imaging, there's over 30 different soil types in the region, which is, you can't find that at almost anywhere else in the world. So it's very beneficial for us to be able to image on this different soil. It's going to be helpful in more locations. But in the winter, we move down to Maricopa, Arizona with the University of Arizona and do a lot of our testing down there. It's one of the most congested airspaces in the world, and that is because it is so fantastic for that kind of testing. So there is less cloud cover. We can do more imaging without all of those types of clouds down there. You have more windows of opportunity, less wind. So it's a fantastic opportunity that we can go down there and then come back up here in the summer and do the testing with farmers while we're in Canada.
It's excellent. It's kind of like a snowbird startup strategy. I know some people, they're here in the summer, they go down south in the winter. I like that strategy.
Fly and sell for the winter.
Yeah. Chris, any thoughts from, like a Regina perspective on like opportunities that may exist in the future related to that, or ways we can?
Yeah, I appreciate that, and it's both an opportunity and a challenge, right? Is the climate up here? So from an economic development perspective, one of the things that we're actively researching is, do we lead the research around building a year-round testing facility that ag tech companies then can cluster around, and that need diminishes a little bit, is that we offer that kind of facility in the city so that the weather becomes less of an impediment, and that we can keep the companies here spending more time here developing projects and products next to their headquarters in the ecosystem that they need.
Yeah, I love that. Maybe just toss it back to you, Crystal, talking about corporate innovation. We talk about, obviously, we've got lots of innovation, lots of breakthroughs coming from the individuals in this room and that we're seeing at the early stage, but also important for those key corporates and major players to be innovative. I know I hear great things about the inner workings at FCC and innovation as a culture. Just curious if you can shed some light on how the organization approaches innovation and how, you look at that from a larger scale, larger FTE count and things like that.
Sure. So we do that in a number of different ways. So one of the teams that I get to work with every day actually manages the FCC Vision Panel. So it's about 4,000 customers, non-customers throughout Canada that we can go to at any point in time to be able to get their thoughts on what's happening for them or for the industry. So we do use that a lot. Then we also actively use different human-centered design tools like design thinking and just hearing a lot of what the different startups here are doing. So we make sure that we are actively working with our employees and customers that we're creating solutions for, to be able to make sure that we're hearing from them directly, getting their guidance as we're creating different solutions every 2 weeks. Actually, we do that with customers to be able to hear from them and get their feedback as to whether or not what we're actually providing will help solve a challenge that they have. So we do it that way, and then in addition to that, we do have an innovation lab as well that looks a little bit more as to how we innovate longer term from a financial services perspective by taking a look at different things that are happening for payments and where people are buying and how we can finance them differently and different data to use for that financing. So we try to look at it through between what we offer today through to some future opportunities as well.
Yeah, that's excellent. I've heard great things. We continually see great things, and it was cool to tour the space, I think, a few years ago as well. I want to flip the switch a little bit to a lesser talked about area of ag tech, which is animal ag tech. So, Chris, given your background with Canadian Western Agribition and the global success of that show and what it does for the local economy, but also the industry, we feel like sometimes animal ag tech gets left out. We've got OneCup AI here tonight, but just curious, how you see things are different on the livestock space and maybe what opportunities exist there, in relation to animal ag tech. And then, I think the growth potential is there.
Yeah, it's a great question, and so I spent 6 years at Canadian Western Agribition, and for those who don't know, that is one of North America's largest beef cattle shows. Really focused on high-end genetics in the beef world. And the point of that is not just fluffy cows, although that seems to be pretty great. It is about exporting top-level beef-producing cattle genetics around the world to developing countries mostly so that they can build their own sustainable high-value protein sector. And so as you see developing countries move into a developed or adding a more affluent middle class, the demand for animal protein like beef is rising. So one thing I would say is that when you talk about the difference between plant protein and the need it fills and serves in the world, and the opportunity and need that traditional animal protein fills in the world, these are not competitive proteins. There are markets, there are growing markets for both, and they become actually, really important depending where you are in the world. There's lots of room for lots of protein on the plate depending on where you are in the market. And from an ag tech perspective, that's hugely important. We know that animal agriculture is intensive, and every year it's becoming less and less intensive. And the more we understand about, carbon sequestration on the grasslands, we learn about efficiencies around animal health and monitoring and feed monitoring. The OneCup AI solutions are great. Catlin's solutions are great on the FarmSimple side. And so you've got a ton of innovation happening in a very fast-moving protein sector that is only increasing in value. And I think animals are complicated, right? We had a saying at Agribition, which is a livestock event, is that, all the animals with 2 legs were easy. It was the ones with 4 legs that were hard. And when you manage entire herds for optimum sustainability and efficiency, the tech applications become so important. And I think we're seeing that happen right here in Saskatchewan. We have 1/3 of Canada's beef herd in this province, and the applicability of the solutions that are homegrown here is, we're seeing that effect, that positive impact happen already around the world. And I know that because of the mission work I did with Agribitions and the technology and the sustainability that comes out of the animal ag tech sector, and how important it is as these developed countries merge into animal protein that already has a leg up around sustainability and productivity.
That's great. I loved your line there about lots of protein on the plate, and it made me think lots of protein on the prairies. We've got Canadian Western Agribition, globally successful show. We're talking animal protein. We've got Protein Industries Canada, the super cluster, also based here. I feel like the prairies has a protein advantage, which is great to see. And I want to apologize when I gave an animal ag tech shout out. I forgot about Catlin from FarmSimple there, so I apologize, Catlin. But we're fortunate to support both OneCup AI and FarmSimple. Jessica, I know you got marketing, communications, background experience, done a lot of cool experiments at Precision AI. I think one of the big things for the startups here this evening is looking at customer acquisition. If there's any tips, tricks, failures, learnings, or recommendations you might make based on what you're doing with Precision AI, would love to hear from you on the marketing side of things.
Yeah. I'll talk about marketing all day. There's 3 points that I want to touch on, and my background before marketing was in graphic design, so I might be a little biased in saying this, but tighten up your visual identity and tighten up your brand. It's so important. It makes you, it elevates you to a position that so many others in this field don't take advantage of. So, you know, making sure that the voice is the same throughout your company, making sure that you're using the same fonts, even though that might sound silly, but it really does have a subconscious effect on your clients and on your potential customers. So that's my first one. The second one is that find out where your target audience is consuming their media and then be there. So find out and do the research, that might be the newspaper. Likely in this day and age, and in ag tech, it's probably not the newspaper. It's probably something online, but you need to find out what that is and communicate on those types of medias. And the third is to take advantage of all of the awards and the collaborator programs that you can. There are tons of free ones, and there are ones that are going to make a world of difference for you in the earned media that you have online. So one of the ones that Precision AI has recently won is the John Deere Collaborator Program. The awareness and engagement that we have received just from this one award in the last 3 months is 10 times what we were before this. Getting that media recognition, but also the mentorship that you get from those types of collaborator programs is unmatched by anything you can read online or take a degree in. It's that one-on-one connection that you can make through those types of programs.
I love that. And we just saw Dan McCann on stage in San Francisco. Over 100 startups were a part of this, and Precision AI won the Innovation Award, which was some excellent PR and marketing there. Maybe just a rapid-fire question, but favorite channel or most active channel, best for connecting with customers for Precision AI is which?
As far as like website?
I'm thinking like website, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram.
Oh, yeah.
What's the go-to channel? Oh, LinkedIn. Okay.
Yeah, well, LinkedIn for anything that's like B2B, it's very, very active. We're always having conversations on there. But Twitter, especially for agriculture in Saskatchewan, farmers love their Twitter. So go hang out on Twitter.
I love that. Thank you. Question for everybody and I think like a theme that's arisen here a little bit is this theme of trust and building trust with customers, especially in agriculture. You mentioned, and I think we've heard here a little bit, there's only so many, there's the seasonality, there's the risk, there's the one shot a year. Curious if there's any advice or thoughts around building trust in agriculture. I think it'd be great to get everybody's perspective and maybe start with you, Chris.
Yeah, sure, thanks. That is such a big issue in any industry, but it's especially true in agriculture. You mentioned it, I think farmers have on average 40 paychecks a year, so let's never forget their risk tolerance is actually pretty low. If you had 40 paychecks a year, yours would be too. So, one of the things that I think these accelerator and incubator programs are great at is coaching companies through the idea of, finding out what the problem you're trying to solve is. A farmer doesn't have the option to experiment with something that isn't solving a problem they have immediately on the farm. So to be able to be strong enough in your product development and strong enough in your pitch and your understanding of their industry that you know what problem that you are solving for that farmer at any given time goes a long way in building trust, because that they know you understand at least the fundamentals of de-risking their business. And that has become, I think, such an important part of success in the ag tech world is understanding that problem and understanding your relationship with individual clients.
Yeah, I love that. Crystal, I know you talked a little bit about it because of the financial institution piece, but wonder if there's anything else on trust and related to the industry that you're seeing or have learned over the years.
I think one thing that FCC is unique in is that we are known for sticking with the industry throughout all the ups and downs. So by understanding that it is cyclical, there's so many things that are out of the producer's control. So whether it's weather or pests, there's flus, everything that's coming at them, and we're there to support them through the ups and downs. And we take a lot of pride in that. Have customer support programs, and then we also recognize the mental health impact that can have on the industry as well, and so try to show our support and bring that conversation to light as well. So I think those are different components that help to build that trust, and similar to what Chris was saying, the whole efficiency part and looking at how you can help a producer make their business better is really what they're looking for, and to be able to have those conversations about that.
I love that you intertwined the mental health conversation, both from its importance in agriculture, but also in being a founder and an entrepreneur, and how those worlds collide, which I think is great. Jessica, PAI is early, ambitious, doing some really cool things. Inevitably things might not always work out, but it's it's the balancing. So curious the trust perspective from your seat as well.
Yeah, you guys both said it really well. That's the most important thing. They're gonna trust you if you create something that works for them and it works the first time. Once you fail once, they're not gonna come back to give you another chance. But beyond that too, being out there, making the connections, networking at events like this, seeing your farmers face to face, seeing your customers face to face, that's where you build trust. I can digitally market, I can show our brand on Twitter and LinkedIn, and we can be on websites, but at the end of the day, people trust your face. They trust the face-to-face of it.
Can I just jump in on that? That's such a good point, Jessica, and I know this from working in ag events, is that it might seem like an antiquated model to sort of bring people together as a trade show in this day and age, but we had so much success because in the agriculture industry, it matters to introduce yourself and shake hands. That is still, it's not quaint. It is actually an incredible trust-building exercise, and that's why farm shows and events are still remain so successful. And FCC has a great presence at all of them. But I contend that in the winter and the fall, if you tried to go to every farm show that was available, you would never do any farming. You would just be a professional farm show attender. And that's because in the regions that they operate, they are so successful, and they become such a marketplace, not only for the products that are out there, but because they built so much trust. And financial institutions depend on that so much, because it is a lot easier to bring customers to a presence at a farm show than it is to drive down every single driveway in Western Canada.
Yeah, I love that. We couldn't agree more with just the importance of face-to-face, and especially in that industry, and that richest form of communication. And I think from our perspective as well, the other thing with trust is just expectations, right? Sometimes it's early stage, it's ag tech, it's like 90% baked, but it's not fully baked. And I think it's just being open with those customers or the investors and whatever that looks like. We're a little tight on time, so I think I can sneak one more question in for you guys. I want to talk about the future of ag, or future of ag tech. So looking to the future, where do you hope to see ag tech in Regina and or across the prairies in Canada in 5 years? And what would need to be true for this to happen? So maybe we'll start at the far end and work our way back. So take it away, Jessica.
I already mentioned John Deere, but John Deere moved his operations to Moline, Illinois, because of the advantages that the location provided him. I believe that Regina and Saskatchewan can become a global hub for ag tech because of the advantages that we talked about tonight and the advantages that the location has for us here. What has to be true is that we need to continue this type of momentum, these type of events, the momentum that's starting to happen here in Saskatchewan, and keep that ball rolling.
I love that. And PAI is blazing a great path in that area. So thank you for the work you're doing. Crystal.
I think as difficult as some of the financial times are right now, that's also when you have difficulties in the economy, the geopolitical system, and everything else, that's when it's ripe for innovation. So I think that we can play a big role within Canada and within Saskatchewan being a big part of that, because not only are there those huge opportunities, but then there's a lot of the surrounding challenges that we have. And the stronger we can be as an ecosystem and working together and showing how we can leverage what each other does best, the better off not only the entire industry would be, but it's for the food supply for the world. And it's hard to understate that value that it has with the growing population and the growing need that we have throughout the planet, especially with what we see happening from an environment perspective. So things are going to have to shift and change. So I think that we're just set up well to be able to play a big role in that overall.
Yeah, it sounds like a great unfair advantage, but also great opportunity for us here as well. Chris, would love your take.
Yeah, sure. I think what we have going on here. I have, which I don't think is an unfair expectation of Regina, is that whatever Calgary is to the global energy market, Regina is to the global agriculture market. There's a vision here that I don't think is that unattainable, and I don't think it's that too far in the future, where nothing major happens in the global agriculture ecosystem that doesn't somehow start or end in Regina. That can happen. We have a critical mass of companies already making that happen, and decision makers, and the proximity that I spoke about. All those factors are there. And interestingly, we have an incredible amount of alignment in one industry in this country across all levels of government, and that is agriculture. And so you have momentum, money, policy, all showing up in a place in the world where you have access to stable and secure supply chains, transportation logistics, innovation, capital both from traditional lenders and from venture and private equity. And it's all coming together in a small space at the exact same time, 3 miles from where it's all going to be applied. It's incredible when you think about it in a global scale, about how much of that is already happening here. That's why I think it's easy to imagine a place like Regina as the start and the end point for every major innovation or market action that happens in this industry.
I love that. Gets me fired up for the future. And I think just to add on that, what we've got with the increased amount of angel investment, individuals from the industry, early stage people trying to start ag tech companies is great. Excellent support from the Innovation Saskatchewans of the world with the Saskatchewan Technology Startup Incentive and the Angel Investor Tax Credit. We've got Emertech Venture Capital, Canada's largest, most active ag tech fund. We've got companies from across Canada, the UK, and Australia choosing to come to this region. So I think the future is very bright. That concludes our panel here. I know our panelists will be hanging out, and there's a little bit of networking time potentially here, but please join me in giving a big round of applause to our panelists this evening. Thank you guys very much. And we'll toss it back to the startup TNT whenever things are ready, and we can wait for the big announcement happening tonight.
All right, 3-minute warning, everybody. I want everyone to come in close. It's a big room, and it feels weird when you're all spread out. And we're about to announce a big winner. We want you all to celebrate, like mosh pit style, at the front of the stage. I'm kidding, not actually mosh pit. But everybody, come on in close. We're going to announce our winner, and we have side deals. We have absolutely side. There are multiple companies getting investments, so come on up, nice and close, and see who those investment companies are. Come on down, please come on down. All right, 1 minute back. Where's my trusty colleague Hassan? I need at least one of those, and only one of those. That works. All right, can we get the finale slides up, or the outro slides? You should have them there ready to go. Hey, Alexandria, can you do me a favor? Can you grab me a beer, please? A cerveza. Just, yes, please. 8, 9, 10. Yeah, now it's a winner. All right. Yeah, I was going to throw those out earlier. I didn't. All right. We're coming back. I want everybody to come on down.
Welcome back, everyone.
Just come on in nice and close right here. We're only going to be doing this for like 5 minutes, and then we get to just have a good time for the rest of the night, and you guys can just network. So please come in close. I know you guys sit in the back. Just come on in. It's nice and fun when you come closer. Sean, come closer. Bring all your friends and come. Bring everybody forward. Chris, I see you there. Come on in. Right, nice and close. You were just on stage, but I know sitting for a while, but I heard the panel was really good, by the way. Everyone was saying. I wish.
I heard it was an awesome
I'll have to
panel.
go back and watch it on the online stream after. Wow, that was a really tough deliberation room.
That was probably one of the toughest decisions we've made so far in startup TNT.
Yeah, it was like really fun. Like it was literally people were like changing their minds multiple times because their like arguments were flying left and right. And there were just so many possible decision points.
And new pieces of information coming in.
Literally like minutes, right? They're like, I just talked to the founder out there at the summit finale. He told me XYZ, right? And that changes my mind around this. You're like, oh, damn, new piece. Like that's what happens at the TNT summit finale. It's crazy, absolutely crazy. Startup TNT, we started doing this investment almost 3 years ago. We've done 19 summits. We just had 3 more, so 22. Summits. In fact, we got the winner of the last one from Saskatchewan right here with us, Kyle Smythe, with Off Street, and they just announced a $1.2 million seed round close. Let's give them up for that. And now we're going to add another winner and 2 side deals. There are 3 companies getting investment tonight. I can reveal that information already. It's very exciting. We've been investing for 3 years. We got 65 companies in the portfolio. We're going to have 3 more here. And I've just found out Clean Tech and Life Sciences are adding another, at least 3 each, right? So we're adding 9 more companies to the portfolio tonight, which is very exciting.
Yeah,
right?
the pool of companies that we've been able to influence and touch up on is just growing.
Yeah. All right, let's see if I can click through here. All right, so yeah, we're going to add, awesome, yes, I need a drink to celebrate this and to cheers this. This is who we're adding it to. This is what happened tonight. $150K of guaranteed investment. Something also to bear in mind we haven't mentioned yet today, TNT has a VC fund. It's called TNT Capital. And that $150K, but 100 of that came from the investors, and then $50K is coming from the VC fund. And so our winner tonight is going to get those extra resources. Kyle is also in the VC fund, so he knows what that's like, right? And so we're going to work and find an active entrepreneur to help them grow, and we're going to have a seasoned investor from our team work with them to help build their business. So that's what our winner is going to get tonight on top of the investment from our investors. And of course, we got all these awesome people to thank.
Once again, we got to thank our organizing partners and our summit sponsors. So all these awesome organizations are on the board here that now you can now read because the sun is set.
Yes. And of course, all these awesome best friends, Egg West Bio, Boast, Accelerate Fund, Good Lawyer, our core funding partners, Innovation Saskatchewan, and Prairie's Economic Development, Prairie's Can, Foresight, Deal Closer, Olds College, all fantastic partners on this. And of course, before I get to the investors, I really want to thank our AV team at the back, right? Thank you so much, Saskatoon AV. They crushed it all night long, right? We've got our operations team at Startup TNT, Dom, Jonah, Mandy with marketing. Been crushing it this whole time. They've been online. They were helping us out in the deliberation room. Who else we got to thank?
We got to thank Innovation Place staff, Momentum Cafe for hosting us tonight.
Yeah, of course, our event planner, Kara, right over there, just running around all night long, just managing all these logistics. All the awesome co-hosts, Jared and Chris with the VC panel at the beginning gave us some fantastic insights, really set the table for tonight's festivities. Jordan doing the deliberation. I haven't seen it yet, of course, but everybody says it was awesome. How awesome was that panel? Let's give a round of applause to that panel again, right? Yeah, it was a great panel. And, of course, all the vendors here tonight, right? I hope you keep checking out their wares as we party through the rest of the night. Have some great drinks from Black Fox, and check out all the artists back there. And, of course, we had a bunch of volunteers tonight as well that helped us out.
Yeah, volunteers from the U of R, so great shout out to them.
So this is one of the reasons we go through all this, right? And then as I put up the investor list again, right? We put up this investor list because it takes a ton of people to make this happen, right? All of these investors, all the founders, we had actually over 30 companies apply to this summit, and we filtered through all of them. And some of those founders are here tonight that were in our top 20, and that's what makes the summit successful. The whole thing coming together and the whole community rallying behind these startups.
Exactly. So remember back to what we started with tonight about this programming of community building? Well, you saw an example of that here tonight.
Right. And before I announce our winner, which is going to be one of these 5 companies, let's give it up one more time for these entrepreneurs, right? They did a lot of work, not just in TNT Summit, right? They put up with all of our crazy questions, sometimes emailing them late at night, calling them early in the morning, being like, I'm looking at your forecast analysis, and what does XYZ number mean? Can you explain that to me? I need to know by noon today because I have to make a decision on something. And it's like, they're like, oh, scramble, and they try to get it to us. Like, that's the type of stuff that these entrepreneurs had to put up with from us, and then they have to deal with that constantly from everything else in the ecosystem, right?
That's right. A lot of work goes into us, and again, to emphasize that just because they don't get funding here tonight doesn't mean they're not investable. There may be a few things they need to work on, but each of these companies is a viable company.
Absolutely. All right. Okay, this is like crazy. Now we gotta I thought we thanked everybody. Have we done all of this?
I think we thanked everybody.
Now we just announced, right? We announced like a winner.
Do we have a question for the audience? We'll throw some.
Oh, yeah, right. I guess so. Yeah, real quick. Right, we're going to throw in a couple of hats. We're going to make a couple winners in the audience real quick. So, were you paying attention? How many companies are currently in the portfolio? Yell it out. That-
19? Did you
well,
say 19?
that's you were close in terms of one of the numbers. So 19 winners, I'll give you that. How many total companies? How many total companies in the portfolio before tonight? Who's paying attention? Yay! Right? And how many investors total, like number plus, have invested with Startup TNT? Anybody? What? What was it? Yeah. No, total, like across the whole thing. Oh, no, I thought you did. Who said it? Anybody got it? No?
Just pick a number between 1 and 100.
What? Yeah, there you go. Okay.
Well, I got one more question.
All right. Yeah. No. We're gonna give the rest of those out. That's. We kept them waiting long enough. Let's announce. Let's announce the winner. Let's announce the winner. Okay. All right. Without further ado, right? It was, as I said, it was a really, really hard choice.
Very close race.
Yeah, it was very close
Photo
race.
finish.
Photo finish. I just want to set the table here because there's 3 companies getting a deal, and like all 3, we were like duking it out on, right? But I also want to make a point in saying the other 2, right? As Hassan said, right? We are still very much interested in. There's some things we'd like to see them work on, and we'll talk about that after, right? And if they can work on those things, there's probably still a deal on the table to be made at some point. So please don't lose hope if you didn't get a deal, right? But there's 3 companies on the table. There were a lot of similarities. I think the big one is the passion of the founders.
That's right.
Right. That's what we're betting on here, right? All 3 of these founders, we're really betting on the founders. And then the other structural things, which the other 2 hopefully we can work on, right? Because the other 2 founders are also the same. We would bet on those founders too. There were just some other issues with the companies and the due diligence that kind of set these other 3 apart. And out of those 3, we ended up picking one winner, and it was super close. Very, very close.
So we need a drum roll.
Yeah. Drum roll, please. And then we're going to 3, 2, 1. FarmSimple Solutions.
Congratulations.
Thanks, man.
All right, hometown hero here. Speech.
I can't say much more than thank you, and super excited. And the reason I'm here is because I'm supported by people like TNT, Jordan at Cultivator, and many other people in the room. So a lot of you share in the success here. Thank you.
Hey, let's give it up for Catlin and FarmSimple taking home the win. And as I said, let's get that champagne going and get that ready. And as I do, I'm going to call up 2 more companies. As I said, they were very much in the mix, and we're definitely going to do a deal anyway. The Clean Tech and Life Sciences investors haven't even piled in yet, so the deals could keep going up. We have OneCup AI and Typha Co coming on up for a side deal investment. Congratulations. Welcome to Team 2 Portfolio. Thank you. Thank you so much. Congratulations. Yeah. All right. You want to say anything?
Oh, we're absolutely... We are thrilled. Thank you for investing in us and being partners in our journey to bring computer vision to livestock around the world. Go ahead.
I'm really honored by the opportunity, and thank you so much to Startup TNT, Jesse, Hassan, and Justin. I'd like to thank you for the due diligence, and it's been quite the journey, and I learned quite a bit from it.
All right, let's pop this champagne. And here's what I just noticed. We have winners from all 3 provinces up here on stage, right? We got Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba. This is a true Prairie Agtech Investment Summit finale. Let's celebrate that. Let's have a good time. Woo, pop it. All right. Let's throw some music on. Actually, we have a live performer coming up in just a minute to take us away through the rest of the evening.
Do we want to do photos with the...
Yeah. And if the investors and the total top 5 could all come up stage as well, Shondell and Michael, please, and Chad as well, actually, please come up stage. We'll take pictures with all of you. And all the investors that are here, please come on stage as well. And yeah, we'll do some pictures and let's have a good time. Let's party. Bar's open, right? Let's do it. Yeah, of course.
Good job, Catlin. You're welcome. Nice work. Congratulations.
Jesse? Oh, it's been an honor.
Yeah. Awesome. So we're excited.
Thank you. Thank you.